Okay, hello everyone. We are going to start the next topic. So this topic is called trigonometric equations. Actually, it is continuation of the previous topic only, but yeah, there is some difference. Basically, in this chapter, we are going to study about the solutions of trigonometric equations. So one of you just confirm, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right,
sir.
all right. Now you can mute. Yes, okay. Okay, so let us see what it is all about. First of all, we will start with the definition. So, an equation involving trigonometric ratios, and an equation involving trigonometric ratios of unknown angle. It's called
Question, sir.
trigonometric equation. Yes, whatever.
So this is a subtopic only, no?
Sorry.
So this is a subtopic, right?
Actually, we have studied trigonometric ratios, and this is trigonometric equation. So in some books it is a single chapter, in some books it is a different chapter. So no matter, only the basic concept will be used. Previous chapter some basic formula will be used. Otherwise it is different. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So it's called yeah. Try to understand. You will come to know what is required from the previous chapter. So equation involving trigonometric ratios of unknown angle is called trigonometric equation. Example. See, you have already studied about quadratic equation. You have studied about linear equation. So similarly, there is trigonometric equation. Like for example, sine theta equals half. This is an equation. LHS is there, right hand side is there, unknown angle theta is there, and they want you to find theta. So what are those values of theta for which sine theta is half? This is the question. Similarly, cos theta equals -1. Then there can be other equations also, not necessarily only like this. See, there can be this equation. It is also a trigonometric equation. It contains sine and cos, and there can be so many other examples. All of them, we have to find the angle theta. Unknown angle theta is to be calculated. Now next is, what about the solution of the equation? Solution of equation. Next. So by solution we means the value of unknown angle, the value of unknown angle which satisfy the given equation. The value of unknown angle which satisfy the given trigonometric equation. So just like we have root in quadratic, here we can say root or solution as well. So the value of unknown angle which satisfy the given trigonometric equation is called solution of equation. It's called solution. We call it solution, we call it root, etc. Solution of the equation also you can write. Solution of the equation. So if we take the example of the first equation, see sine theta equals half, then if we want theta, see there are so many angles which satisfy this equation. The simplest one is 30 degree. But this is not the only answer. Theta is equal to 30 degree. You used to say this angle in class 10th. But now you have studied trigonometry of compound angle, you have studied reduction formula. So there are other angles as well. See, whoever it is, please stop it right away. I will remove you from the meeting. Okay. So theta is equal to 30 degree, then theta equals 150, then 390, and so on. There are other angles also like sine 30 degree. Sine 30 degree is half. Okay, we already know this. Sine 150 degree. Sine 150 is sine 180 minus 30. And using reduction formula, this will become equal to sine 30, which will be ultimately equal to half. Then sine 390 degree. 390, how we can calculate? By writing it as 360 plus 30. Okay, 360 is even multiple of 90. So it will remain in sign only and it will be only positive. Why? Because this quadrant is first. 360 means you are back at the positive x-axis, plus 30 means first quadrant. Okay, because after fourth, first is coming again, then second, then third and fourth. So once again this value is half. So likewise there are so many angles. In fact there are infinite angles for which sine theta is half. Now we will learn to find all those angles. We will learn how to write all these angles. Not like this 30, 150, 390. What is that thing? What is that notation by the help of which we can write all the angles which are solution of this equation or such type of equation? This is what we have to learn in this chapter. So till now, what is the basic thing? First of all, what is trigonometric equation? Equation involving t ratios of unknown angles. Okay. So there were some examples. Then next is solution of equation. By solution we mean value of the unknown angle which satisfy the given equation, and I have taken one example and I have written few angles which satisfy this equation. In fact there are infinite angles, you can go on writing it like this, but we will learn the methods by which we can write the answers directly. This is what we have to discuss in this chapter. Now first of all, solution are of two types. Solution means solutions of trigonometric equations. So solutions are of two types. One is called principal solution. One is called principal solution and next one is general solution. So first of all, we will try to write principal solutions of few equation and then we will come to general solution. Mostly questions are asked from general solution only. But we will gradually develop the idea what is principal solution, what is general solution. So first, let us begin what is principal solution. So the values of unknown angles, the values of unknown angles in the interval 0 to 2 pi, in the interval 0 to 2 pi. That means complete one round of first, second, third and fourth quadrant. So values of unknown angle in the interval 0 to 2 pi which satisfy given equation. This is called principal solution. Which satisfy given equation is called principal solution. Simple definition. So you will have a look at the equation and then using trigonometry you will find the angles in the first, second, third and fourth quadrant, that is complete round, which will be satisfying the given equation. So I am going to write few equation first. Find the principal solution of, let me see if you can find the principal solution. Find the principal solution of following equations. Answers are to be calculated from 0 to 2 pi, okay, not beyond that, only in this interval. Such type of angles which are in this interval and satisfy the given equation, they are called principal solution. Okay, then we will come to general solution. So first example
Sir,
is
is the solution in degree or radian?
what? This angle.
Yeah, the
Angle
principal solution.
when I'm writing 2 pi, when I'm writing 2 pi at that time I'm reading the interval as 0 to 2 pi means that is angles are in radians. And if I write the same angle in 0 degree to 360 degree, then angles will be calculated in degrees. So solution is angle. What is solution? Solution is value of angle. Now it depends on you whether you want to write angle in radian or degree. But ultimately it must lie between 0 to 2 pi radian or 0 to 360 degree. It is one and the same thing. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay. Tell me, any one of you now. All of you must solve and let me know what is the answer of the first part. Cos theta equals minus half. What is the principal solution? So there in this topic, your trigonometry will be tested now. Cos theta equals minus half.
270.
Okay, first you tell me one thing. If cos theta is minus half, then tell me in which quadrant or quadrants theta will be lying.
Second or third?
So second or third?
Yes, second and third. Both are correct.
Second or
Both are
third.
correct. So you are going to get two answers or two angles. I already told you that there are in fact so many angles which satisfy such type of equations. Okay. But here we are supposed to find principal solution. So cos theta equals minus half. So this value will be negative. As you said, cos is negative in second and third quadrant. So one angle will be there in the second quadrant and other will be in the third quadrant. Can anyone tell me what is that angle in the second quadrant for which cos theta is minus half? Do you remember that angle or can you find it?
120
So cos
degrees.
120.
So 150.
No, 150 will give you minus 1 by root 3. 120 degrees correct answer. So one value you should remember. So what you can do if you want to calculate this value cos 120. Cos 120 is cos 180 minus 60. That means minus cos 60 using reduction formula. Value is minus half. So one angle is confirmed. It is 120 degree. It is coming between 0 to 2 pi, right? Now next angle will be in third quadrant. In fact, I gave you some idea about the standard angles of some quadrants. If you remember, I told you that these are the standard angles of the quadrants. So if you remember now, what can be the next angle which will be there in the third quadrant whose cos is
So
minus half?
240.
Yes, correct. So next is 240. Why? Because see 240, this is 180 plus 60. Cos 180 plus 60 using reduction formula, even multiple. It will remain in cos and third quadrant, so value will be negative. Answer is minus half. So you can see that these are the two angles. These are the two angles for which cos is minus half and their values is lying in this interval. You won't find any angle in first and fourth quadrant. Why? Because cos is positive and here it is negative value. If you want, you can write these angles in terms of radians also. Now I'm not telling you how to write in radians. I will write the value simply. 2 pi by 3 and 4 pi by 3 are the values of the two angles in radians. Okay, whose cos is equal to minus half. So this type of trigonometry will be used mainly values of standard angles of all the four quadrants and some basic reduction formula. So till now this thing will be used. I am giving you another question. Tan theta equals root 3. Principal solution. Question will remain same. Yes, can you tell the angles?
So 60 and 240.
60 and 240. That is absolutely correct. See, 60 is obvious. Why? Because 10 is positive. 10 is positive. So remember the ASTC rule. So if 10 is positive, that means its angle. Tangent of the angle is root 3. So what about the location of the angle? Angle will either be in first quadrant or it will be in third quadrant. Okay. First quadrant, it is very easy to remember the angle. What is the angle whose tan is root 3? Angle is 60 degree. Now you have to think about angles of the third quadrant. So if you remember, these were few angles. These were few angles which you can consider to be part of third quadrant, right? 180, 225, 240, 270. So out of this, 240 is that angle. Try to relate it with 60 also, whose tangent will be coming equal to root 3. Why? Tan 240 is tan 180 plus 60, and tan 180 plus 60 means tan 60 by 180 even multiple. It will remain in tan only, and angle is in third quadrant, so its tangent will be positive, so that means root 3. So likewise we have to solve. Sorry, this was second part. Now third one. Yes, this is the third part. Now it is tan square theta is equal to 1, and you have to tell me what are the angles or the principal values for which tan square theta is 1.
So tan 45.
Which angle? Can you repeat?
So tan 45.
So that will be
So
only one
45
angle.
into 225.
45 and 225 is partially correct answer. It's not complete.
So also 315 and
315 and
135.
so how many angles overall?
So 4.
Yes, correct. Now this is the final and correct answer. See, if tan square theta is 1, so you have to take the square root, and for that you will write plus minus 1, right? So tan square theta is 1, then tan theta is plus minus 1. So now tan theta is equal to 1. So one angle is very obvious, 45 degree, right? 45 degree. I am writing angle in degree. You can change it in radian also, or you can directly write it in terms of radian, right? 45 degree. Why? Because tan is positive first and third quadrant. Third quadrant will be 225. Try to relate these angles, See, whenever 60 is coming, 240 is coming in the answer. If 45 is coming, then angles like 135 and 225. So basically they are multiples of these numbers. Like 240 is multiple of 60. 225, 135, they are multiple of 45. So try to understand what I want to say. What type of answers are coming? Why 225 is coming? Because tan 225 is tan 180 plus 45, and this will become tan 45 by reduction formula. I have written it so many times, so by now you should be comfortable with the reduction formula. Similarly, tan theta is minus 1. Tan is negative, angle will be coming in second and fourth quadrant. So the first angle where tan is negative is 135 degree. Find the value. Now I won't be finding these values anymore like this. You have to understand yourself that I might have calculated these values by reduction formula. So 135 is 180 minus 45. Tan 180 minus 45 is minus tan 45, value will be minus 1. Similarly, next one will be 315 degrees. This you can calculate by 360 minus 45. It will become minus 1045. So overall we have these four angles. You can write them in the ascending order. And if you want, you can write these angles in terms of radians also. First one is pi by 4, 3 pi by 4, that is 135 degree. Then 5 pi by 4, and finally we have 7 pi by 4. So the four angles, these are the four angles or the principal solutions of the equation. What is the equation? Tan square theta is equal to 1. So in this way, whenever you are given any equation and you are asked to find the principal solution, what you will do? You will use trigonometry, and maybe you have to use ASTC rule and reduction formula to write all the principal solutions. What are principal solutions? Values of the unknown angles which satisfy the given equation. This is what you have to understand from the first part, that is principal solution. Now, after this, I have a next question for you. I have a question for you actually. Have you ever studied about the graphs of y is equal to sine x, y is equal to cos x? Have you learned the graphs of sine x, cos x, tan x, etc.? Anywhere?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So all these six or just the first three, sine, cos, tan?
So first three.
Sine, cos, and tan, right? Okay. Okay. So because when you will be understanding the graphs of trigonometric functions, then you will be able to understand why so many angles are coming for trigonometric equation. Like when I wrote that example sine theta is equal to half, at that time I gave you some examples like 30 degree, 150 degree, 390 degree, and I said that there are in fact infinite angles. Okay, so graph can explain this thing, how much angle, and in fact reduction formula can explain the reason why so many angles are there, but graph is much easier to understand. So just like you have learned to draw the graphs of linear equation to variable in class 10th, okay, you used to draw a straight line, remember? So similarly in class 11th, now you will learn some graphs. There is like whole unit, which is the last unit of 11th, that is coordinate geometry. So in that you will learn so many graphs. Physics you already have started learning the graphs, but in class 11th, where you actually start learning the graphs is trigonometric equation first. So graphs of six trigonometric functions that we are supposed to learn is, first is y is equal to sin x. So this is the first graph. See, basically it is a freehand sketching right now, obviously. So don't expect graph to be symmetrical or perfect like a straight line, because we used to draw them with the help of scale. But here we'll be doing freehand sketching. And on the x-axis, see, this is x-axis, this is x, this is the angle of sine. So I will be plotting angles here. I will be plotting angles here. And I will be plotting the angles in terms of radian. Everyone should try to understand this thing. This is extremely important. See, on x-axis, what type of numbers we take? We take 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Right? So now I want those numbers to be the angle of sine, because I'm saying y is sine x. And I have to draw the graph of y is equal to sin x. So I will put values of x, I will get value of y. I will locate those points and then I will join them with the help of, I have to do the freehand sketching, right? Then with the help of scale. So what I want to say, let us start with this point. Now listen carefully whatever I'm saying. See, consider this point. This red point is on the graph, or it is a part of the graph. You know what is the reason? The reason is when you will put x is equal to 0 here in this box, y will come out to be 0. Why? Sine 0 is 0. This is the reason. Okay. Now, I have considered next angle is this. See, it is not possible for me to draw all the angles here. I will just take some main angles by the help of which I can remember to draw the graph. So next one is pi by 2 radian. See, pi by 2 is like 1.57. If we change it in decimal, pi is approximately 3.14, right? 3.14 upon 2 is 1.57. So after 0 to the right, I have taken a number pi by 2. But this pi by 2 is angle of sine. Okay. This pi by 2 is going to be the angle of sine. Angle is taken in radian. Can you tell me what is value of sine pi by 2? How much is the value?
So
One.
one.
So 1.
1, right? And did I ever tell you that what is the highest value of sin x? Did I say anything? Something like this. What is the highest value of sin x? I told you anything like that? That whatever be the angle, the highest value of sin x will be this.
So one.
Yes, 1.
So
One.
one.
1, right. See this point, and see this height. This height is corresponding to 1. And this is the lowest point, which is corresponding to height minus 1. See, See these two heights, -1 and the uppermost height, that is 1. This graph is actually fluctuating between these two heights. It will never go beyond the height y is equal to 1. It will never go below the depth or below the height y is equal to -1. It will always be between -1 to 1. That is why we say try to remember, understand these two things. This is also very important. See, x belongs to R. What is the meaning of this? X belongs to R. X belongs to R means that is I can put any angle that I want. I can put it here. I can find its sign. First thing. What is the meaning of second result? Second result is that you put any value of x of your choice. Even if you put 10,000 degree, doesn't matter. Sine 10,000 degree, its value will finally be between -1 to 1. Because this is what the nature of graph is. It will always be fluctuating between -1 to 1. Whatever angle you put. At 0 it was 0. At pi by 2 sine 90 degree. Pi by 2 means 90 degree. Sine 90 is 1. Now see, as I am saying, there are other angles also between 0 to pi by 2. But it is not possible for me to remember all the angles, to plot all the points, because ultimately it is freehand sketching. So just remember the main angles. Now next one, pi. See, pi. Radian is 180 degree. We have already learned to calculate its value. We can write it like this. This will be sine 0. Sine 0 is 0. That is why you can see. That at that point where x is pi, y is 0. How we can say that y is 0? Because the point is on x axis, and on x axis all the uh, points have y coordinate as 0. Now there will be this point, next point here. This dot will be 3 pi by 2. Okay, 3 pi by 2. And you know, at 3 pi by 2 this will be coming -1. See, 3 pi by 2 is actually 270 degree. 270 is sine 270 is -1. You can solve it later on. Find yourself using reduction formula. Sine 270, sine 180 plus 90 minus sine
Excuse
90.
me, sir.
Yes.
So 3 pi by 2 is on the x-axis, or is it a part of the curve?
3 pi by 2 is not part of the curve. This point is part of the curve. I am saying that this point has x coordinate as 3 pi by 2 and y coordinate as -1. Got it?
Oh, okay. Yes, sir.
See, try to understand. Let's say I have this point 1 comma 2. How it will become 1 comma 2? When you will start from origin, you will go 1 to the right and 1 to the vertical direction upwards. And now this point can be on some curve, whatever this curve is. So how you will get the point 1 comma 2? 1 on x-axis, 2 on y-axis, and point will be on this curve, whatever this curve is. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So similarly, first of all, there will be 3 pi by 2. Now corresponding to 3 pi by 2, this height is -1. So this point, this red point which I am highlighting again and again, this is the part of the graph. Graph is only this black curved portion. These points I am highlighting to show you that these are the points which are present on the graph, and trigonometrically I have calculated their values, and then I have joined these points with freehand sketching. Like at 0 I got 0. 0 what? First you will put x, you will get y. Sine 0 is 0. Sine pi by 2 is 1. Sine pi is 0. Sine 3 pi by 2 is -1. You are getting all these points. Just join them with the help of using freehand sketching, right? And now what we will do? We will try to generalize this result, because you know what happens? As you will complete this graph, wait a minute. See, this is your first quadrant. Listen carefully. This one. Why this is first quadrant? 0 to pi by 2. Then come back. This is your pi by 2 to pi. Second quadrant. This is your pi to 3 pi by 2. This portion. Third quadrant. And finally, you are back at the fourth quadrant. After that, this is 2 pi. After that, what will happen? You will come back again in the first quadrant. So what will happen? The shape will start repeating. So just remember this one, this branch. Wait a minute. Remember this branch, blue one. Now you can see that this graph is constantly repeating. See, I will repeat this branch. Listen, this particular branch, it is same as the previous one, and now this is also same as the previous one, and now this is also same as the previous one, and this will go on. Why? Because after 2 pi you are actually present in the first quadrant, because after 360, even if you write 390 degree, but you know sine 390 is sine 360 plus 30, again sine 30, again half. So overall you will start getting the same graph again and again and again, to the right as well as to the left. Also, see one more thing, graph is sufficient to explain everything. You know that sine is positive in the first and second quadrant, right? Sine is positive means y is positive. That is why this portion, this portion which looks like inverted u, right? It is in the positive direction or above x-axis, while in third and fourth quadrant sign is negative. That is why this portion is below x-axis. And everybody knows that if a point is above x-axis, then its y coordinate will be positive or y will be positive. And if it is below x-axis, then y is negative. So this graph is also confirming ASTC rule. In 0 to pi, sin x is positive, that means y is positive. So above x-axis, third and fourth, it is negative, below x-axis. Then first and second, above x-axis, third and fourth, below x-axis, and so on, and so on. Now I have a question for you. You might have observed, you might have observed some pattern. So can anyone tell me, just by looking at the graph, just by looking at the graph, can anyone tell me that what is the principal solution of sine theta is equal to 1? What is the principal solution of sine theta is equal to 1? Just tell me orally. Sine theta is equal to 1. What is the principal solution? Yes, anyone?
So pi by 2.
Pi
Very
by
good. Very good. Absolutely correct. Because see, from 0 to pi by 2, let me highlight the region once again. Now using different colors, see this one. This is your region where you have to look for the principal solution in 0 to 2 pi. And as you can see that there is only one point which is corresponding to height 1, and that is this point, this one. So sine theta is 1 when what is the angle? Angle is pi by 2. Now I'm repeating my question but for different value. What is the principal solution of sine theta is equal to minus 1? Principal solution of sine theta is equal to minus 1. Very easy. Just have a look at
So
the graph.
3 pi by 2.
Yeah,
3
3
pi
pi
by
by
2.
correct. 3 pi by 2 is the answer. Good. Now I have third question. Listen carefully. And others also try to answer. What is the principal solution of sine theta equals 0? Give the answer carefully.
pi.
Sine theta equal to 0.
Pi.
Pi
So 0
radian.
and pi.
Pi.
Incomplete answers. All of you have given incomplete answer.
So
Try to
0 and
remember.
pi.
0 and
The
pi.
0 pi. Pi.
0 and pi.
0 and pi is incomplete answer.
0 pi and 2 pi.
Very good. This is the final and correct answer.
0
See,
to pi.
yeah. So no, you will not say 0 to pi. You will say 0, comma, pi, comma, 2 pi. Basically, three values are coming. See, any values can come. You have to give the answer principal solution in this interval 0 to 2 pi. Now you have a look where sine theta is becoming 0 at 3 points. Those points are 0, pi, and 2 pi. Okay, anyways, I have one more question for you. Have a look at the graph. Try to observe the things and tell me what is the next angle after pi by 2 for which sine theta is 1. What is the next angle after pi by 2 for which sine theta is 1? It is not necessary, it is a principal solution. My question is different now. What is the angle after pi by 2 for which sine theta is 1?
So 5 pi by 2.
Very good. See, now this is about observing. How? You know where is that angle? This angle is here. See, this point. Because first of all, you go for the height. So this height was 1, right? Now the next height 1 is here. And if you observe that I am highlighting the angles only after a gap of pi by 2. So see, from it was 0 here, then I mentioned pi by 2, then I mentioned pi, then I mentioned 3 pi by 2, then 2 pi. So this particular angle, now this is corresponding to 5 pi by 2. And if you want, You can calculate the value of sine pi by 2, sine 5 pi by 2 using reduction formula also. 5 pi by 2 is actually 450 degrees. See, degree radian conversion I am not going to tell you anymore. I have already taught you. Reduction formula, it will be used frequently. You should be comfortable with it now. So 450 degree. Sine 450 is sine 360 plus 90. Sine 360 plus 90 will become sine 90. Sine 90 is 1. So by that form also you can understand that that is the next angle. So there's so much information. There is so much information from the graph. Okay, which you should try to understand now. Okay, I have next question for you. It is somewhat related to graph only. Tell me, there's no more principal solution. Okay, question is, I have sine theta is equal to root 3 by 2. Or let me make it simple. I have sine theta equals half. And this is the graph. Sine theta is equal to half. This is the graph. What do you think? How many angles are there for which sine theta becomes half? I am not
So
saying.
can you repeat the question?
Yeah, I will repeat the question. See, I want you to tell me by having a look at the graph that how many angles are there for which sine theta equals half or sine x is equal to half, whatever you say.
So infinite.
So
Yeah,
two.
definitely. No, see, if you are saying two, that
Infinite.
means you are probably looking for principal solution. Now my question is, how many angles are there for which sine theta is half? No more principal solution. That means all the angles. So you know how many angles will be there? He is correct, infinite. Let me draw the graph once again. See, this is the graph of sin x. And you know that this is height 1, this is height 0. So somewhere in mid, there will be a height half. And now I want to find those angles for which sine is half. You know how many angles will be there? Infinite. See this line. See this yellow line. This yellow line is cutting this graph everywhere at the height half. And for this, I have some angle here. I have one angle here. I have one angle here. I have one angle here. And likewise, I have infinite angles for which sine is 1 by 2. Okay, there are infinite angles. You won't be able to write all of them right now. You will be able, I will be telling you how to write all these angles. Okay, but not right now. So till now you can only find the principal solution. Okay, and you have learned some basic, you have learned some things about, some facts about the graph of sin x. Okay, and how ASTC rule is applied, how we look for certain values. Okay, what is the shape, how to remember. So how you will remember? Just remember one branch from 0 to 2 pi. Remember this branch. Okay, this one from 0 to 2 pi, this yellow one which I am highlighted again and again. Okay, this one, just remember this branch. And now you can see that this same branch is replicated everywhere. So this way you can remember the graph and you can draw it whenever required. Okay, but it is extremely important. All these six graphs, all these six graphs, so I will be providing you a PDF where they will be drawn more properly. Okay, you have to learn these graphs, remember them, try to draw them again and again. And what else is important? These two things, we can put any value of x. Okay, and the y, the value of y, it is from -1 to 1. So this is also important. That means whatever x you put, whatever value will never go beyond 1 and it will never be less than -1. Actually, this y later becomes a range. You will be studying about this in class 12th, and this x is called domain. Okay, but let's not get into it right now. Okay, it is another different chapter, another concept. Okay, right now we will stick to trigonometric equation only. So this was everything about sin x. Okay, then similarly there will be graph of cos x. Now there is nothing much to explain, just different graph. But here also we can put x belongs to r, that means any angle is allowed. And y is also minus between -1 to 1. What is different? Different is the shape. See, here at 0, At 0, sin x was 0. But what is happening here? Here at 0, it is 1. Can you tell me why? Why at 0 this is 1?
So because cos 0
Because
is
0
1.
is 1.
Because cos 0 is 1.
Cos 0 is 1.
Yes, correct. Good. So now you can understand the basic difference. Why different type of graphs are coming? Why different graphs are coming? Because their values are different. Sine 0 is 0. Cos 0 is 1. Alright, tan 0 is again 0. Then see, tan 45 is 1. Sine 45 is 1 by root 2. Sec 45 is root 2. So different values, different shapes. So that is the reason. Okay. However, two things are same. That is x belongs to r and y belongs minus 1 to 1. But let me tell you, here also I do the marking at a gap of pi by 2 radian. See this. Pi by 2 radian is corresponding to 90 degree. So kindly see that whenever I locate the points, I take a gap of 90 degree and I'm highlighting these angles. So like if you have a look at the graph, then cos pi by 2 is 0, right? Cos pi by 2 0. Pi by 2 means pi by 2 is radian, degree is 90. To the left, angles are negative, like the numbers are negative. To the left of origin, the values are negative on x-axis, right? So now negative angles will be appearing on the left side, like minus pi by 2. Okay, I have a question for you. Can you tell me why this branch is like this? Why this branch is like this? Why this is above x-axis? Can anyone tell me? What is the reason? Why this green branch or green shape is like this? I mean, why it is above axis? Who can tell me what is the reason?
So it's in the first
Since
quadrant,
the
the
first
values.
first
First and
It's in first quadrant.
no, first is clear. What you are saying? What else?
0
Anyone?
to 90 cos positive.
0 to 90 is fine, but clearly have a look. What is the actual interval which I am highlighting? Is it 0 to pi by 2? Is the angle moving from 0 to pi by 2 or is it something else?
So
5
because
by 2
cos minus theta
minus
is
5
equal
by
to cos theta.
Yeah, very good. See, this is one thing. This is one thing. Cos minus theta is cos theta. So even if I calculate cos of minus 60 degree, cos of minus 60 is actually cos 60 and value will come half only. So this is a very good observation. So you know what is happening. In this green branch, see here it will be some angle. Let us take this angle randomly as pi by 3. Pi by 3 means 60. For that we will have this height as 1. Sorry, half. Cos 60 is half. Why the same height is coming here? Because here also we will have a similar angle minus pi by 3. And at minus pi by 3 also the height will be half. Why? Because cos of minus theta is cos theta. Also I can say that the graph is like this because see from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Can you tell me what are the quadrants covered here? From minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, what are the quadrants? Mention the quadrants with respect to angles. From minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Which two quadrants? See, everybody is saying 0 to pi by 2 is first quadrant. I am asking minus pi by 2 to 0. Which quadrant is this?
First one.
Which one?
So fourth,
Second.
Yeah. No, not second. See, I was thinking this thing that you will be confused. Most of the students who think it is second quadrant, I am talking quadrant of the angle, not quadrant of the graph. You are having a look at this graph and you are observing that it is first quadrant, second quadrant, and you are saying, sir, this graph is in second quadrant. I'm not asking this. I'm saying these angles. If you remember this, see, 0 to 90 degree. Remember 90 to 180 degree, 180 to 270 degree, 270 to 360 degree. So I used to say 0 to 90 first quadrant, 90 to 180 second, 180 to 270 third, 270 to 360 fourth. And what about clockwise angle? All these angles were in anti-clockwise direction. What about clockwise sense? 0 to minus 90. Remember? Fourth quadrant. Minus 90 to minus 180. Rotation wise, you have to see the quadrant. So from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, angles are in fourth and first quadrant. Okay. So if angles are in fourth and first quadrant, its cos will be positive. Its cos will be positive. That is why according to ASTC rule, this green branch is like this. Then you know this next branch, next shape, why it is below x-axis? Because the angles covered are from pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2. Pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2, that means second quadrant and third quadrant. In second and third, cos is negative. So what are the concepts used? ASTC rule. Quadrant wise, ASTC rule, obviously quadrants is used, and sometimes reduction formula is used, and some basic values are used to plot the graph, like cos 0 is 1, cos 90 is 0, cos 180 is minus 1. Then we join them with the help of the using freehand sketching, and we get the graph. Okay, so this was about cos x. Here also we can put any angle. Ultimately, as you can see, it is also fluctuating between minus 1 to 1. So this is your second graph, y is equal to cos x. Okay, let me see how much you have understood. I have a question for you. Solve for theta. First, cos theta equals to, what will be your answer? Think and think for a moment, and then you tell me what you are getting. What is your answer for this part? Cos theta equals to. Yes, sorry. Can you please a little bit louder? I'm not able to understand.
No solution.
No solution. Very good. That is the answer.
Not
Correct.
different.
Yes, yes. No solution, not defined. All the answers are correct. Good. Reason is very obvious. I have just mentioned it here. This is the reason. X belongs to R, Y cannot be greater than 1 or it cannot be less than minus 1. So basically, there can be no value of angle theta for which you can get cos as 2. This is not at all possible. So in such type of questions can be asked, and their options can be not defined, no solution. None of these can also be the option. So in none of these, they may hide this answer that no such solution exists. Okay. Then we have graph of 10x. For 10x, there is some change now. Now you cannot put any x like that. There is some restrictions. Some angles are not allowed, and the reason you already know. In class 10th, you might have learned 10 90 degrees not defined. Okay. So now we will generalize that statement, not just 90 degrees, but all the odd multiples of 90 degree. You are not allowed to put in 10. Why? It becomes undefined at those angles. What type of angles? Odd multiples of pi by 2. What is this thing? R minus means you can put any real number except 2n plus 1 is odd because n is integer here. So if you put n equal to 0, it will become 1. If you put n equal to 1, it will give you 3. If you put n is equal to 2, you will get 5. So whenever you select an n as integer, 2n plus 1 will always be odd. You are multiplying it by pi by 2. So odd multiple of pi by 2. So what is exactly the meaning? That you are not allowed, or it is not possible to put those values of x which are odd multiples of pi by 2. Reason? They are undefined values, 10 90, 10 to 70 degree, 10 450 degree. Not defined means there will be no graph at these angles. This is important. And what about y? Y is, however, r here. That means it can get any values of y, or it can achieve any height. Let me show you what is the graph. First of all, I am highlighting, or let me do one thing. I will draw some lines, again at the gap of 90 degree, pi by 2. So labeling is okay because after 0, I always mark this angle pi by 2, then pi 3, pi by 2, 2 pi. But why I'm this time I'm making them like this? Why the vertical lines? Because there is no graph present at these lines. These lines are drawn at those x where odd multiple of pi by 2 is there. So what is the graph then? I will draw the graph of 10x with red color. This black portion, whatever I have drawn till now, is not the graph. graph. Now I'm going to draw it now. See this. Just remember this curved portion, this red one, because ultimately you have to now repeat it again and again. See this. Remember this red curve, repeat. Then remember this red curve, repeat. Sorry, it is a little bit broken. And what about this portion? Wait a minute. Now there is lack of space, otherwise I could have drawn some more vertical lines, and this red portion will go on repeating. Like in this portion, I can draw at least till here. So this is a half of it because next is not present, and let me mark this angle as 3 pi. So this red curve is basically the graph of 10x. Okay, only the red portion. As you can see, this red portion is never meeting or cutting these black vertical black lines. You know why? Because these black lines suggest that there is no graph present for the angles by which these lines are passing. Means at pi by 2, this angle. No red graph is here. Why? Because 10 pi by 2 is not defined. At 3 pi by 2, no graph is there. 10 3 pi by 2, not defined. At 5 pi by 2, at 5 pi by 2, wait a minute. This is okay. This is not 5 pi by 2, this is 3 pi. Yeah, at 5 pi by 2, this is 5 pi by 2, this one. No graph is there. Why? Because it is odd multiple of pi by 2. And as you can see that y belongs to r. Y belongs to r means that y can achieve all the heights. It can achieve all the heights. R actually means minus infinity to infinity. So you can see this red line or the red curve, not line, red curve is coming from below, from here. Actually, it is coming starting from minus infinity and it is reaching till this point, which is actually plus infinity, because this graph is not ending here. It shows that if you extend this black line, suppose, then this red curve will also move with it, but it will never meet. So ultimately, this red curve is going from minus infinity to infinity. That is the meaning of the notation that y belongs to r. Now I have some questions for you. Can you tell me why the graph of this 10x is above x-axis in 0 to pi by 2? What is the reason? 0 to pi by 2 above x-axis. Reason is yes, anyone?
Yes, first quadrant.
First quadrant ASTC rule, it will be above x-axis. Now next branch, next portion pi by 2 to pi. In pi by 2 to pi, in pi by 2 to pi, it is second quadrant. Second quadrant 10 is negative, so this red portion is coming from below. Then pi to 3 pi by 2, this one. Pi to 3 pi by 2, third quadrant 10 is positive, again above x-axis. Then fourth quadrant 3 by 2 to 2 pi, again it is negative. So I hope you understand. And one more thing, I can tell you one more thing. You can see that there is sudden sorry, there is this, not this portion, not shadow actually, this is, wait a minute, let me write all the angles and let me write their values. See this. You know what is happening when we move from 0 to 60 degree? Okay, listen carefully. When we move from 0 to 60 degree, the change in value of 10 is very slow. See, at 10 0, 10 0 is 0. 10 30 degrees only 1 by root 3. Till you reach 45 degree, 10 is becoming only 1. See this angle, 45 degree. And you know what is the height? If you look at height is 1. 10 45 is 1. But what happened in the next half? In the next half, at 60 degree value is root 3. But have a look between these angles. From 60 to 90 degree, what happened? There is a sudden increase or sharp increase in the value of 10. From merely 1.732 or root 3, it changed to infinite. This is also obvious from this portion, from pi by 4 to pi by 2. See, just in this small portion, what is happening? What is happening? You can see this red portion. It is moving so fast that it covers all the heights from 1, 2, and it goes on like this up to infinity. So that is evident from the values also. In fact, we have the values, we draw the graph. If someone asks what came first, graph or value, so it is quite obvious we got the values first. Okay, and after getting the values, we wrote them in the form of points x comma y. We plotted them on the graph and we joined them. Okay, but since there are infinite points, it is not possible for us to make table like this. See, we have x, we have y put value 0 0. It will make it very complicated. We don't know what is the remaining shape. Should we use a scale or should we use something else? So that you will come to know in class 12th, that why the shapes are like this. Why can't I join them with a scale? Okay, why not every graph is a straight line? Because what is the best thing for us? We should have 3 4 points, we should have the scale, let us join them. No, it is not like this. Linear equation in two variable, only though those equations have their graphs as straight lines. Okay, different functions, different graphs, and that is what we are studying. So I hope this next one is also clear, and on the basis of that I have a question for you. Is tan theta, see basically there are 6 graphs, 3 we have completed. Okay, then in our next class we will be studying about 3 other graphs, and then we'll come to the general solution. So it will take 2 to 3 classes. All right, and then we'll finish this trigonometry completely. And it is possible that at the end of the next week, or maybe next to next week, we'll be starting with the next chapter, that may be basically binomial theorem or permutation combination. All right, so this is the question for you. Is tan theta equals 10 to the power 6 possible? Yes or no? That means, is there any angle available for which tan is 10 to the power 6? What is your answer?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
it's possible.
yes, it's possible. That's correct. Because just only we discussed from here. See this, that from root 3 to, sorry, from 60 degree to 90 degree, when we go on putting the angles, what happened? There is a sudden increase, and from merely a value of 1.732, the value at 90 is becoming infinite or non-defined or very high. Okay, so 10 to the power 6, though it looks very big value, but yeah, it is possible. Now if someone asks at what angle, I cannot tell you that. Okay, but it is possible. Yes, you can give the same answer from the range also for y belongs to r. That means from minus infinity to infinity, all the values are possible. So this is the explanation. Now, actually, last week we had only one class, and this was the first class of this week, and we have one more class this week. Only one more class. From the next week, there will be more classes. So basically, I want to ask. I gave you some homework on the last term. Have you completed? All of you have gone through those questions. Have you solved them or not? Tell me. Because yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So listen, I am giving you one more turn. Next turn, that is Thursday, I am going to discuss those questions. So those who are not aware of the homework, okay, ask your friends. And by next turn, you are supposed to complete it. I will be discussing that also on the next turn. All right, because solving the questions is important in trigonometry. It is not some subject that you can just go on reading and without practicing nothing is going to happen. So homework, that will also be discussed on the next turn, and if time allows we will continue in this topic. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye
Thank you,
everyone.
Excuse me,
sir.
sir.
Yeah, please.
Thank you, sir.
Well done.
So,
Thank you,
can you
sir.
please show the next graph?
Sorry, can you please repeat?
Sir, can you please show the cosec graph?
Yeah, sure. Here it is. Actually I have provided you PDFs. All these graphs are drawn there and much properly.
Thank you, sir.
All right, bye everyone.